Last week, the Maryland Terrapins defense allowed 694 yards and also allowed 40 points in a 3-point loss to rival West Virginia. Here today at the Carrier Dome, the Maryland defense allowed 589 more yards and cruised to victory. Each phase of the ball game for the Maryland Terrapins came through in a 34-20 road victory for the Maryland Terrapins against the Syracuse Orange here at the Carrier Dome in Syracuse, New York. Now, the Maryland offense was nothing to sneeze at. C.J. Brown, 16 of 26, 280 yards, threw a couple of touchdowns as well. In the ball game, the Maryland special teams came through. They blocked a kick in the second quarter, leading to a field goal, which gave Maryland a 24-13 lead. In this ball game, both offenses were hot from the very beginning. As a matter of fact, 8 of the first 9 drives resulted in the offense driving into the opponent's part of the field. But it was the Maryland defense that came up with the biggest play of the ball game. Immediately after Maryland took a 24-13 lead, the Syracuse offense once again marched down the field, got into the red zone, a chance to cut Maryland's lead to 4 points with a touchdown. Terrell Hunt, the quarterback for the Syracuse Orange, threw an interception to William Likely at the 18-yard line, and Likely took it coast to coast, 82 yards for a touchdown. It gave Maryland a 31-13 lead, and they were able to pretty much salt the game away. The Maryland defense almost shut out the Syracuse Orange in the second half. Syracuse scored a very late touchdown with under a minute to go in the ball game to score their 20th point of the ball game. So the Maryland Terrapins go to 3-1 on the season, able to rebound from their tough loss against rival West Virginia at home. 3-1 on the year, the Maryland Terrapins, and now will play their first game in conference as a member of the Big Ten. They will head to Bloomington, Indiana, and take on the Indiana Hoosiers next week. For the Syracuse Orange, a blown opportunity to go to 3-0, which, if they did, would have been the first time since 1991 that the Syracuse Orange started a season 3-0. Terrell Hunt, the quarterback for Syracuse, had a pretty good game, 357 total yards. He also became the first Syracuse quarterback since Donovan McNabb to run for over 100 yards in a ball game. He ran for 156 yards in this ball game, but 2 turnovers for Terrell Hunt, 1 on a fumble, and of course that interception returned for a touchdown, and Syracuse not able to continue their undefeated streak. They're now 2-1 and going into a really hard part of their schedule. Next week, they will be in East Rutherford, New Jersey, take on the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. After that, they'll be back here for a couple of games. Friday night in a couple of weeks against Louisville. And then, to this point, the #1 team in the country, the Florida State Seminoles, come here for homecoming. So once again, the final score, Maryland 34 and the Syracuse Orange 20. From the floor of the Carrier Dome in Syracuse, New York, my name is Adeshina Koike for a lot of sportstalk.com.